The verse that comes to my mind here as I was thinking about what I might share in a practical way with not only the two couples but everyone else here that's married is taken from Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 7. It says, "There is a time to be silent and a time to speak." And I'm thinking of this in the realm of the necessity for communication. There's a time to be silent, and in my application here, that silence is the silence of listening skills, and there's a time to speak, which would be the communicative skills. There's a time for both of those and the necessity of communication. And in the Bible, the word speak is used 454 times. So that's a lot of communication advocated in the Bible. And so in the realm of a living, vital, working marriage, communication is so important. You know, we can fall to silence. Maybe as a defensive mechanism, we withdraw, but silence just builds walls, doesn't it? We've used those terms before, surely, a wall of silence and so on, but we don't want that. Sometimes silence can be just simply self-centered. It's about me, and I withdraw. Other times, you know, it can be defensive. Just pulling back as a mechanism to defend myself in silence. Other times it can actually be an offensive weapon, you know, the cold shoulder of silence and so on. But when we need to speak, there's a positive duty to talk things out. You've got problems that need to be addressed. You've got to listen. You've got to speak. You've got decisions that need to be made. You've got to listen. You've got to speak. You need to express needs and desires. You've got to communicate that. And yes, sometimes dissatisfactions, right? You've got to know when to be silent, listen, as well as when to speak, because no one's telepathic. We can't read minds. Sometimes I think my wife is almost there where she can. But the reality is we can't read each other's minds. We've got to communicate, right? And so that's the thought on my mind here this morning. There's a time to be silent and there's a time to speak. And so from this day forward, going forward from here, you guys have got to get together and talk about things. It's so vital. Think about this. It's worthwhile to note. With the Tower of Babel, all God did was break down their communication. That was all He had to do. He changed the language. And so now they're no longer able to communicate. And whenever you're not able to communicate, then anything constructive goes out the window. So, a time to be silent and a time to speak.